Do you believe that rhetoric targeting officials with violence for carrying out their constitutional duties is a threat to democracy, Mr. Ward? Mr. Siegel?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Only a few weeks after the attempted attack on a Supreme Court justice on June 25th, one of the witnesses, Alejandra Caraballo, tweeted out the following in response to a decision on abortion overturning Roe v. Wade, and I'll quote directly from the tweet: "The 6 justices who overturned Roe should never know peace again. It is our civic duty to accost them every time they're in public. They are pariahs. Since women don't have their rights, these justices should never have a peaceful moment in public again." I know something about being accosted. The night of January 5th, I was physically accosted on the streets of DC in Navy Yard by a constituent of mine. I fervently blamed rhetoric on social media, rhetoric at public events, for being physically accosted. I carry a gun everywhere I go when I am in my district and I'm at home, because I know personally that rhetoric has consequences. I've had my car keyed. I've had my house spray painted. I had someone trespass in my house as recently as August. I've been doxxed on social media about where I live. And I've had to add to security everywhere I go. Often, because I can't afford it, I have to carry my own firearm wherever I go. And Alejandra Caraballo also recently tweeted on November 19th, not even a month ago, that the Supreme Court, vested with the judicial power of the United States by our Constitution, stated they are not a legitimate court issuing decisions. And also the Supreme Court is an organ of the far right. So my last question today of Ms. Caraballo: do you stand by these comments, this kind of rhetoric on social media? And do you believe it's a threat to democracy?
Thank you, Representative, for the opportunity to clarify and provide context to my tweets.
I have a question. Is it yes or no? Do you believe your rhetoric is a threat to democracy when you're calling to accost a branch of government, the Supreme Court?
What's up, everybody? Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
I see. This is,
Hey,
I think, our
Rachel.
last show before Christmas. I hear some kind of feedback. I think it's on your end, Patty. I don't know what's going on.
Oh.
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe there's something I guys going on here. Anyway, welcome everybody. It's been a minute, hasn't it? We didn't have a show last week. I don't know. I felt like there wasn't a whole lot to talk about that week, but now I feel like I'm catching up and we're behind on things. I don't know. What's new, Patty? Has it been a busy 2 weeks? I don't know.
Kind of, I guess.
Not in Lansing, thank God.
Yeah, good point, right? No, I don't. Just getting ready for Christmas and the holidays and enjoying the time off work. And
Yeah, I think I think that's where everyone's mind is at right now. I don't know. I was supposed to go visit my folks for Christmas, but the weather report is so bad. They're like, it's dangerous. Stay off the road. So I don't know. We might even end up.
I did see
rescheduling.
that Friday we're supposed to get some, like 8 inches.
I heard like Thursday and Friday is going to be extremely cold and windy and snowy, and the roads are going to be atrocious. So might not be the best time for a 12-hour drive for me. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
hey,
anyway.
Paula.
Yeah, hey everybody in the chat. And
Hey,
hello to
Richard.
everyone on Rumble too. We do see your messages there on Rumble as well.
I
And
don't.
we're even on YouTube, at least for the time being. I don't know. I don't think we have very much election stuff to talk about this week. Maybe we'll let it run on YouTube for a change, but we'll see.
Oh yeah,
We'll
is
see.
that the only strike at whatever? Who knows what else we'll talk about? Yeah.
I don't know. Things have calmed down on our YouTube channel, but I still think on general principle, I like to tell people if you're watching on YouTube, go over to Rumble and don't come back.
Don't come.
But, one thing that happened to YouTube this past couple of weeks is they somehow, and I'm surprised they didn't do this years ago, they now ad blocker doesn't work anymore. And so I don't like to watch YouTube as much as I used to, because now I have to see their stupid advertisements, because I'm not paying Susan to remove the ads. So now every time I go to YouTube and I see an ad, I'm like, oh, what am I doing here? I should be on Rumble. And I go on Rumble and check my Rumble feed. So Thank you, YouTube, for removing. I mean, I suppose they had to do it because it's their money, but thank them for encouraging people to switch to Rumble, where free speech is welcome and ad blockers work. They probably shouldn't, but they do. So I'm happy for that.
I might be late to the party on this one. Russell Brand is on Rumble too now. Did you know that?
And yeah, he was the first show that I think Glenn Greenwald's project launched, and Glenn Greenwald's doing a
He's
5
with
nights a
him.
week show.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched his shows this week. They were all very good, although they're almost all of them focused on free speech and Twitter, which is great and it's important stuff, and his commentary is always awesome. But I hope it's not going to be too one note. But I guess that's like the big story this past couple of weeks is all of the censorship that's been, first being removed from Twitter, and then there's this outcry from these whiny journalists about how Twitter's not letting them dox Elon Musk anymore.
Or his kid,
then,
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay when it happens to us. What gets me is like, when it happens to us, then, you don't hear much from their side saying, no, it shouldn't happen. And, blah, blah, blah. But what do? We are like the opposite. Oh, I don't believe it should happen to either side. Like we always cave or try to just be like too nice.
Yeah. I don't know.
There's a lot of those tweets with like.
I did see Elon restore the stupid journalists accounts, but
Taylor Lorenz.
Yeah, but I don't know about Taylor Lorenz, but I know some of them. But the guy who posted that Elon jet tracker account on Twitter, he was on CNN the other day, and he says, "I'll take my account down. I just want $50,000 or a Tesla." And I don't know. I think Elon's got a pretty good extortion claim against him now, so we'll see. I don't know. I wouldn't.
Well, Elon's got a tweet going right now, another poll about if he should remain the head of Twitter, and he's losing. 58-42 was the last I saw.
Hey, Patty's frozen. What's up? Hey, people in chat, is it just me? Or is Patty frozen for you too?
Adam's frozen for me.
Let us know in the chat, please.
Who's frozen?
There you go. Okay, you unfroze for me. Sorry, Patty, you were saying?
I don't know. You're frozen for me.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it was my fault then. Maybe it was my computer.
I don't know. So what was I saying? Oh, Twitter. Yeah, Twitter poll, the latest one from Elon. Should I step down as head of Twitter? Yes or no? And he's losing 58. Well, let me check. It was 58-42. Thanks, Jay. One vote for Patty. One vote for me.
Well, I guess it was my computer then. I don't know. I could see myself fine, but I suppose that's just the way StreamYard works.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So
anyway,
let me see if I can find that.
Yeah, we better vote in that poll then.
I voted. Yeah, I voted.
Yeah, I'll try to remember. It's not that important to me, honestly.
Who else is back? Emerald Robinson's back.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Jay says, I'm really fuzzy now. Uh-oh. My internet is my phone, and it usually works just fine, but I don't know.
Okay.
Someone just tried to text me. Maybe that somehow screwed with it. I'll put it on vibrate, which won't help.
You're really fuzzy now.
Oh, well, anyway. What else is going on this week?
Oops.
Oh, a few things have happened. I am now the executive director of the Washtenaw County Republican Party.
Ooh.
So that's cool. And we raised $9,000 at our Christmas party last night.
Oh, did you really?
9,000. Yeah. So
that's good. That's really good.
There's been a lot of shakeups in the Republican Party these past few weeks, from what I've heard. Lots of people overthrowing their county GOPs, and I don't know how I feel about that, folks. I guess it depends on the county you're in. But I have to share this image. You remember some time ago we were talking about how there are certain people in the grassroots who are very hardworking, very productive, and have an equal distaste for the rhinos and the Democrats. And then there are people who are just stark raving mad and are totally counterproductive and not being helpful at all, and mostly just screaming and yelling and throwing fits. And I called them not the grassroots, but the ass roots. And apparently that made them really mad, because being really mad is all they know how to do. And they apparently have embraced the message. So someone sent me this photo. This is from the Kent County Convention. They're actually proud of themselves. Notice, please. Let me try to make this full screen.
I can't see it.
Here, I'll make it bigger. Notice the capitalization on their shirts.
Can you guys see it in the stream?
Yeah, let us know in chat if you can't see it. If you can't see it, it says deplorable ultra mega grassroots, but the G and the R are lowercase. So that it says ass roots in big, bright capital letters across their shirts. Barry says you can't see.
Can't see. I just see a black screen. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on.
Huh, let me try something else. Here, let me try.
During the pre-show it showed, yeah.
Here, let me see if I can do, I share the full screen if that does the trick. Did that work?
There it is.
Better? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes StreamYard is kind of funky. Yeah, there you go.
Well, I guess they took it. Yeah, they took it personally. Maybe, I don't know. Were you?
I'm not in Grand Rapids, and I don't know
Yeah,
who any of those people are.
I don't know
so-
anyone here. Yeah, I don't know anybody. So
But can you imagine being proud of this? I mean, they are proud of themselves. Yeah, we are the ass roots.
I think
We
it's
don't
funny.
do anything
It's
except start
funny.
fights with people. By the way, someone in the chat asked about Amber.
Amber's Oakland County.
I think she might be coming on tonight.
That's not what he means. Amber is the executive director of the Oakland County.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Adam is Washtenaw.
Yeah,
So-
that's a done deal. Yeah. We're in different counties, so don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not taking Amber's job. I wish I could, because she actually.
That's why
gets
she's
paid.
not on the show. She's mad. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, you remember 2 weeks ago she was talking about how there's people who are like threatening precinct delegates. You know, people are just stark raving mad. It's kind of nuts. But speaking of that, there is a state convention coming up next month, or no, it was in February, but I think the county conventions that elect the delegates to the state convention is in January.
January 26th, 7
And
p.m.
that's when they elect the state chair, the state officers, and they also elect the district committees as well. So
In February.
yeah.
Yes.
So it's probably going to be a crap show. My guess is it's going to be kind of the same results as we had in this last round of county conventions, which you guys didn't have yet because you're in Wayne County, but everybody else had their county conventions.
Yeah, we have a dual purpose convention January 26th. So whereas we will be electing delegates to state convention like you guys will, we will also be electing our executive committee, which we have not done yet. We're the only county that has not done that yet.
Yeah.
So
Here, let's get these people off of the screen. That's embarrassing. But anyway, so it's weird in your county, because in your county you still have to elect. You have like because you're in Wayne County, so they divide it into these different districts. And you have
they're like
sub-counties,
county district committees. Some people call them a hybrid committee, and anyway.
Yeah. But for everybody else, the conventions for electing state leadership and congressional district leadership, and that's about it. I will submit to you guys, you should probably take absolutely zero interest in this convention cycle, unless you're in Wayne County like Patty is, because then you guys actually have to elect your county teams. But
yeah, but I'm sure people want to go to state, and then they want to vote on their congressional district committee. I mean, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, well, let's put this in perspective here. And Rice Smart says, get rid of Ronna Romney. And thank you for that, Rye. I fully agree. The issue we have, however, is that the people who vote, hopefully, to get rid of Ronna are our national committee man, national committee woman, and our state chair.
Yeah.
The thing is,
Rye says also it's January 27th is when that happens. So that's when the RNC meets.
Yeah.
They're meeting out in California at some swanky resort somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. It's a private vote. So they can vote for whoever they want and then tell you whatever they think you want to hear. So I don't know.
They could, but it also, maybe people will feel more comfortable to vote her out if they don't know who did it.
Yeah, that's true too. Well, I think, and I expect, we will be announcing an effort to get people to contact the national committee men, national committee women, and urge them to support Harmeet Dillon for RNC chair, who, unlike Ronna Romney, wasn't a complete backstabber who blew millions of dollars to defeat patriots and elect rhinos and ended up losing Congress.
So there's the latest I heard was, in addition to like the Lululemon, was the that they were involved with that. Did you see that explanation that they were?
No, who was
helping McCarthy?
Oh,
with what he was doing to try to not get people elected.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. I would just
say
this.
If you look for the girl from Red State who wrote the article, she's been interviewed about it and goes into it. And then they were both, we'll see, they're both invited on War Room for her next week. I don't know if they'll all go on, like Ronna and the girl who wrote it and Harmeet, I think, and everyone. So we'll see if they end up interviewing with Shannon.
I think we'll definitely organize a campaign to urge them to vote for Harmeet over Ronna. And that would also be a great message too, coming from Michigan too, because Ronna Romney's from Michigan.
Right.
But,
Oh,
gonna
could
put
we
this on
get
the
them on? Could we get our state committee people on the show?
You mean the national committee people?
That's what I mean. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, Rob Steele was on our New Year's show last year. I don't think he's been back since then. But yeah, Rob's a good friend of mine. And I don't really want to bother them if I don't need to.
Yeah.
I was gonna put, and I think I probably will put is on hireharmeet.com, which is Harmeet Dillon's campaign page.
Mm-hmm.
She has their email addresses and Twitter handles listed.
Okay.
What we'll probably do is do some sort of program where people can sign a thing on our site, and then we'll forward it to them in like one big blast or deliver it to them in some way so that we're not
Oh, that's a good idea.
just completely blowing up their inboxes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But, they are public officials. So if you want it, and since it's on her website anyway, this is hireharmeet.com, and this is the email addresses and Twitter handles for our national committee man and national committee woman. Bill Hamilton says Rob Steele is supporting Rana. Well, then never mind. Blow up his email inbox.
Well,
Screw it.
Bill, are you saying that because he signed the letter?
Yeah, Bill, let us know how you actually know that, if that's confirmed.
Yeah, I mean,
would
they
certainly
did sign
hope
the
not.
letter. All three of them did sign that letter, but I think a lot has changed since then. That letter was done prior to any, anyone significant putting their name in the hat. Like, no offense, I don't consider Mike Lindell like an option. So,
No.
yeah, but now with Harmeet,
Yeah.
and
For
Harmeet,
those who,
yes, he said he saw the letter. Yeah, so
okay, so that's what that's in reference
yeah,
to.
they
So that
they
does
did
not mean he's
all three
committed.
of our Michigan RNC members did sign that letter, but that was before Harmeet threw her name in. So who knows? Maybe
Yeah. For
something
those
might
who don't
change.
know, Harmeet Dillon is the RNC committee woman from California, and she's also one of the best election integrity lawyers in the
Yes.
country, and also a huge First Amendment attorney, and represented a lot of important clients and a
She's
lot
right.
of
Yeah, if
high-profile
anyone knows
cases.
Rogan O'Hanley, he goes by DC Drano on social media, and they just had arguments even last week. So that's still an active case where he is suing. I don't know if he's suing Twitter, which one he's suing, but basically the California Secretary of State, California government was telling them to ban him, and they did. So
Yeah.
that case is still active. And Harmeet has also said she would reach out and she would have Scott Pressler on her team.
Oh, he's already. Well, hold on. Let me make this a normal size screen again. Yeah, Scott's already.
Oh, there he is. Yep.
He's already endorsing Harmeet.
Yeah. Whereas, and he's tweeted that Rana's never even said a thank you to him. Like,
I'm not the least bit surprised.
yeah. So anyway, I don't know the lady, but she did promise when January of 21, she said she wouldn't seek another term. This is unprecedented to have a fourth term as the RNC chair. And here she is. After saying she wouldn't, she is.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So it's an important thing. And again, all we can do is reach out to them because we can't control them. Unfortunately, they're already in office. But they will be up for re-election at the February convention, which is after the January 27th.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't imagine Rob Steele is the kind of person who would vote one way and then claim he voted another. So
yeah, he
I
seems pretty nice. And
yeah.
seems
Kathy Burden, I don't know what she
upstanding.
has ever done on anything. Oh, you do know Kathy Burden?
No, I just said Rob seems an upstanding
yeah.
person. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Rob's great. I don't know anything about Kathy Burden, even though she's been in National Committee woman for I think 4 years now. But what she's done, I couldn't tell you. I think at one point I was on her email list, but I'm not anymore, and I don't hear from her at all. So
Yeah.
I don't know. What.
Well, maybe
what
this
she's
would be a
doing.
good time to just give a Cliff Notes version of what the RNC is supposed to do, and how a lot of times maybe we think they should be doing things that really are not in their roles and responsibilities.
Well, what they're supposed to do is win the White House, period. That's supposed to be the end of it, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently Rana blew a lot of money meddling in elections and defeating America First candidates this past cycle and costing us Washington, which I think is a terrible fraud. I think people should never give to these organizations that have done this. And there's different organizations for different aspects of government. The NRSC is the National Republican Senate Committee that's controlled by Mitch McConnell.
Right. And they get
Uh,
senators elected, and they give money to senatorial races,
except
right?
except when they give money to defeat America First candidates like
Correct.
I was going to say what's her name in Alaska, but they actively interfered
Murkowski and
in that
Chewbacca.
primary. Yeah, they opposed Chewbacca and supported Murkowski.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and
also,
cost us
so
even more
everyone
seats.
knows that, so there is that, but there's also, every state has their own version of those committees too, and they
Yeah.
work to get state house or state senate candidates
Yeah.
elected.
And they too meddle in primaries. I know
yes.
I met is it Matt Wilk the other night, and he was talking about how he wants to reach out to some of these people that have been donating to these campaign committees, not the single campaign, but you know, the House campaign committee, the Senate campaign committee, and then spent the money not on electing Republicans but meddling in primaries for the bad guys. And you know, people should never be giving money to these organizations, because at the end of the day, they're backstabbers. I don't know. I think I don't know if there's any manner in which, you know, a donor could pursue a fraud claim against them. Probably not anything easy. But anyway, all right, let me get this off the screen. Now we don't need that anymore. So that's the one thing that's coming up. Oh, and then there's also Ron Weiser, who's the state chair is automatically on the national committee. Good luck pressuring him. He's checked out, folks. So I don't think that's going to happen. But
Everybody doesn't even live here in Michigan anymore.
No, he doesn't. He lives in Michigan anymore. I think, and I don't even blame him after that last state convention. The disrespect that was shown for someone that gave the party so much money I thought it was terrible. And I've heard the party might not even have the money for the upcoming state convention, which would be amazingly bad.
So then what would we do? Have it on Zoom?
I don't know.
Like they did during COVID?
I don't know. It would be an unbelievable embarrassment,
Well,
no matter what. But hey, we've got candidates for state chair. That's the big thing coming up at the next convention cycle.
and that deadline's not passed yet, so who knows? Maybe more people throw their name in, right?
Let's hope. Shall we give people the rundown? There's let's see. I've heard Pete Hoekstra's out. He is not running for it anymore. Lena Epstein is in. I don't think she has any shot because the grassroots doesn't like her because she's a blue blood. But she ran for Congress a few years ago.
Yeah, she beat out
didn't make it.
She beat out what's her name? Andrea Fisher Newman for U of M
Yeah.
Regent. So she got Lena got the grassroots vote in April, right?
Yeah, but that may have been there may have been an issue with
Adam, is there Vaseline on your lens? Someone wants to
no.
know.
No, I think you guys have. If there's a problem with the video, it's an internet problem, I think, because I come in crystal clear on my end, and that's just because it's
Like,
not going up and down the
you look
interwebs.
great in my eye.
Yeah.
Don
but the other thing, though, at the dynamics at that convention, though, was that Andrea Fisher Newman was automatically a rhino because she used to be a U of M regent. So, I don't know. But anyway, so that's one candidate, Lena Epstein.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have 5, I think, other people running, none of whom have any background raising serious money. We've got, let's see, there is Matt DePerno and Christina Caramo, who, of course, ran for AG and Secretary
Well,
of
let's
State.
put them with
Didn't make
who
it.
they're running with, and that sounded a little confusing, maybe if people didn't know. So Matt DePerno. and
Yeah, they're
Garrett
not running
Soldano.
together.
Yes.
Yeah, DePerno is running with Garrett Soldano, and what's the name of the woman that Christina's running with?
someone. Her last name starts with a P. Pog.
I don't know. I've never heard of her.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, folks. I mean, I did support Christina Caramo at the April convention, and at the August convention. But being a state chair means you have to be able to raise lots of money, and Christina Caramo, I think, is looking for a job because the state chair it's a paying job, folks. It's, I think, 170 grand a year salary, which I don't know where they're going to get that money from. But you know, Christina raised some money from the grassroots, but she won the convention on the basis of the strength of her message and the popularity in reaching the precinct delegates.
Yeah.
And then in the general cycle, because you know there's a certain institutional force that kicks in the general election to try to win the top of the ticket race, but that's not going to be there for the state chair. I was talking to someone in Lansing who's an expert fundraiser, and they're like, there's basically two kinds of people who are great at raising money. One are the blue bloods who just know everybody who's super rich and can just, make the phone calls and get the checks in the mail. And the other are the people that know how to really close a deal and really aggressive at working and schmoozing the institutional money. And they're not in the club, but they are good enough at making a strong sales pitch that people open their wallets. And I don't think Christina Caramo's in that camp. I don't think Matt DePerno's in that camp either. And then down the line, you've got JD Glazer, who's been involved in politics for, I believe he said 2 years. And Brandon Hall, who runs a blog. And that's about it.
Was he official?
I don't know. I heard he was in, but I'm not sure. And then there is Billy.
Where can we see that? Like, we should be able to go somewhere and like have it.
Let me just see if there's
Their
any
website up to date. Their website was not.
Let's see. Brandon Hall. I don't see a website.
But MIGOP website, would it be on there?
No, I did find something. And this is obviously from opposition, but nonetheless, this is what came up in the Google search. Brandon Hall was not on the list, Paula says. She got the list from State Party last week. Okay, so I guess he's not running.
Paula's a good person to know.
So I guess we won't talk about Brandon Hall's background.
Flowery fella.
Yeah.
Was that his outfit? Is that what I missed it? Okay.
But yeah, here, I'll put it back on the screen again. Yeah. It's Brandon Hall on the left.
Okay.
So then you got Billy Putman, not Putnam, Putman. He's apparently a reality TV star. He lives at a compound with like 30 family members. Said he was going to support all the candidates this year and then didn't. Oh, Aaron Tuckfield says, you're forgetting CJ Richard. He will probably get tons of donations. Sarcastic face. Yeah, that's right. I did forget. Is he officially in? Do you know, Aaron? Is CJ or Paula?
That's Paula.
Is CJ Richard in? CJ Richard was the guy that was attacking Ron Weiser relentlessly from the get-go.
Correct. Yep. January 6th.
Yeah, they got till January 6th to file, so we'll see.
So the difference is January 6th, they need more signatures, I guess.
Aaron says he has been saying he is. I mean, here's the thing, people. Given this list of people we have, and I think we talked about this 2 weeks ago too, there is no good choice in this. So how much time and energy are you guys going to burn trying to run a slate at your county conventions to elect people to the state convention to elect the state chair? It's going to be an ugly, bloody mess. And frankly, I am happy not to be involved in it at all.
Okay, fine, but someone has to win it.
Yeah.
Right.
And for what? Who's the least worst of those candidates? Let me know in the chat what you guys think.
Yeah, let's get a little poll going. Can we do a poll?
Paula says you have Ken Boersma, Scott Ogney, and Mike Farage. I think I have heard about Mike Farage. Cool, Mike. All right.
Is he related to Nigel Farage?
No, not at all. No, he
Jamie Show has a good question.
What are the requirements to run for state chair? I think you have to get the endorsement of, you have to file and you have to have the endorsement of, I think, a certain number of district chairs.
So I think the early deadline was you have to have the signature or endorsement of 5 congressional district chairs, and now in January, I think it's 7.
Yeah.
I think that's
and a district chair can endorse more than one.
Yeah.
I don't know how many district chairs are going to endorse some of these people, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know if they're.
Shane is not here this week. He's at the, what is it called, the America Fest conference or something?
Yeah, out in Phoenix. Yeah, but I think he's the one. Yeah, so I mean, I'm 95% confident in that he told me it was 5 and then 7.
Huh. Okay. But yeah, Shane is a district chair, so he might know.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, who's the least worst of those? I don't know. Maybe, I guess Christina, maybe. But either way, so we're going to elect the state chair. We elect a number of vice chairs who have never done anything ever of any interest to anybody at all. You have the state committee election is also at the state convention, which what is the state committee going to do if the state party has no money? The state committee never really did much of anything in the first place anyway. And then we also elect our district leadership, which I don't know how interested I am in those either. Well, in my congressional district, it might be different for you guys wherever you are. But I'm now going to be back in Debbie Dingell's seat, which is a completely safe Democrat seat. And again, the district committee is supposed to be supporting the Republican for the congressional seat, which in the sixth is not going to be all that exciting, frankly. I mean, hopefully they raise some money. Hopefully they do something. It's better to have someone that's passionate and active and building some kind of organization than have nobody at all. But is this a thing worth fighting about? I don't know. Cindy says, we didn't even talk about how they plan to help the party. I'm sure they do.
DePerno has a plan out there on his website.
But
it's
it's all just promises and noise. I mean, the bottom line is being a chair means raising money, period, paragraph. And not meddling in the process and not lying and cheating and stealing. And frankly, I don't trust any of these people to do any of those things. So, yeah. So,
and some others may have a plan too. I just don't know. I just happen to know that DePerno does. So,
yeah.
Just make research, go on their Facebook or social media and see if they've announced any, like what they plan to do.
Yeah. Zoe Lee says the Republican Party is falling apart with the crazy Q people wanting to run. Yep. And I wish I could say they're all going to cancel each other out, but unfortunately there is going to be a runoff if that happens, so it won't matter. We'll get a majority no matter what happens. On Rumble, KLSC85 says, any news on the recount of Prop 3? We didn't say anything about the recount of Prop 3. I saw on Twitter some rando was telling some journalists that Rescue Michigan was involved in the recount, and
that was Kelly Bundy. Kelly Bundy.
Who's that? I mean, who's that really? Do you know? It's just some
I don't know. I just remember the name because it's the same name as Married with Children.
So it's a fake account from some anonymous coward. We did not do anything to get involved in that recount. You want to know why? Because the recount's not going to change the result of that election at all. And for those of you who have been following our channel that know, we've talked about election fraud and where it does happen and where it does not happen. And where it does happen is absentee ballots. Where it does not happen is voting machines being hacked. I heard in my county, there were some of the Q people trying to get people to come to do the recount, and only 4 people showed up to do the recount. And they did it for a whole day, and they found a grand total of 4 votes were changed. 4 out of thousands and thousands and thousands. So I don't know why anyone was getting involved in that. I don't know what they thought they were going to prove. I think all they ended up proving was that they could waste money and that I've been right all along about the voting machines. So I'll bet you the ass roots will get really quiet really quick when the results of the recount come out. And all they show is that the machines aren't stealing votes. So we'll see. We shall see. But that's
in Livingston County, it was a school board race. I think it was a tie, and then they did a recount, and then the one candidate ended up winning by 18 votes or something. I don't know which school district. I don't remember, but
I mean, if they're that close, it's possible. But like when I worked on John Riley's campaign,
we lost by what, 10 points for the props?
No, 10 points, hundreds of thousands of votes, if not millions. So when we did John Riley's recount, he had originally won the election by 31 votes out of thousands and thousands of ballots, and after the recount, he won by I think 19 votes.
Can you pull up Paula's message from 931?
Yeah, hold on. I want to pull up this one real quick first.
Okay.
I've worked a number of recounts. It's always interesting several hours in when the realization hits that nothing will change. Yep. They think they're going to find amazing things, and the reality is the machines count the ballots pretty accurately. The only time there's a problem is when there's something that a machine couldn't possibly catch. Like we saw, like there was ballots where people crossed off one, and the machines thought it was an overvote, but it wasn't. But when you do a recount, you do count that as a valid ballot if they crossed off their first choice. That was where the changes came from in the recount, and that's all. Anyway, you were asking me to pull up this.
Yeah, Paula says we have a state party candidate forum on January 3rd, and every candidate except DePerno has accepted our invitation.
There you go.
Where's that at, Paula? Is that open? Should we be letting people know about that event?
Yeah, and Jay's got one too. He's got a link in there too. So It's probably a lot to copy down, but you can rewatch the video later and you can pause
Yeah,
it
rewatch and
to-
click on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they can click on the video, but maybe on Facebook they'll see it in the chat. But
In the comment, it'll be a hot link, and they
right.
can. Yeah.
Yeah, but for those watching on Rumble or YouTube, you can pause the video and then you can type all that in if you want. So there you go. Interesting. I guess we'll have to do some debate watchings once that happens, and we'll see where things go. But I mean, the bottom line is,
There's going to be a debate for the state chair.
well, it's not. It doesn't say debate. It says forum, but sometimes those turn into debates. So we'll see. She says it'll be open to all of Wayne County after Christmas.
Okay, that means Amber can't come. Make sure you tell her.
We saw Amber the other night, and she was very concerned about Wayne County, and Patty told her to get back in her own county. Jay says we were centralized geographically for the second district. I don't remember what the second district is anymore, Jay. I don't know these new numbers yet.
Yeah.
So I guess I could pull it up.
He said
I
his
know you're in,
district is geographically huge. That was an earlier comment by Jay. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the comment on that. Yeah, the first is like all of the UP and like half of the Lower Peninsula, and the second, and never mind, because I don't remember what the district numbers are. But yeah, the ones up north cover lots and lots of counties.
Yeah.
I think really the main organizational unit is going to be the county, and I think that's where we can make the most impact in the next few years. And that's what I want to talk about tonight is the county GOPs. And growing local organizations. So in my county, we've got a new leadership team in our county GOP. We're going to be working very hard to get things spun up again. It's been a rough past 2 years. We raised $9,000 at a Christmas party last night, so that was cool. We're building new data systems. And one of the big things that we're going to be focused on over the next 2 years is building organizations in every precinct. And those of you who've watched the show a lot over the past 2 years know this is a drum I've been beating for a very long time. And now that we're going to be involved with our county Republican Party, it's going to be all about making that happen. So I think what we're going to see for the next couple of years is us giving updates to you guys on here's what we did and how it worked. And our goal is to have groups in every single precinct, because that's what it will take to defeat the media, to be able to have the kind of coverage you need to win a campaign, is having like 10 or 20 people activated and trained and mobilized in every precinct. And that's eminently doable, folks. If you've knocked on doors, you know how easy it is to find at least a couple of people every day who share your values, share your concerns. And what's going to happen over the next 2 years is going to be issue after issue after issue, where these Democrats do crazy crap, introduce extreme legislation, and we're going to be building organizations fighting them.
And you had said you're going to bring back Operation Watchdog, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. That's going to be a huge priority. If you guys, I'm sure you probably saw this in our email today, but let me pull this up again in case anyone didn't see this one. This was at the Capitol the other day.
Oh, that's for sure.
This is absolutely disgusting and disgraceful. These are 3 Democrats, I think they're all freshmen, laying on the floor of the rotunda taking selfies. And the one on the left wearing pajamas. These are the people that we're dealing with. These are the people that are going to fix Michigan's problems, right? Yeah.
I just think the funniest part is how disinterested everybody in the background is.
Yeah.
They're just...
Yeah, I think the lobbyists are stunned. And I think these are lobbyists. I don't recognize any of those faces. And there's always lobbyists. Huh? Yeah.
The people standing up. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, a few of them might be Republican freshmen or Democrat freshmen, maybe, but there's always lobbyists strolling around the Capitol for various reasons. So that's probably who those people are. And they're probably looking at this going, huh? Oh my. And how embarrassing. I mean, and this is what frustrates me is the serious. I mean, we've lost sight of the seriousness of it all. You know, saving liberty in this country is serious business, and we're doing battle with entities of power, people that have millions of dollars, people who profit from extracting money from taxpayers, people who are fanatical, And these are the kind of people that end up in and these are the kind of people we get in politics. These people, of course, there's other people in the photo we looked at earlier, the ass roots. I mean, these are not serious people, and this is pathetic. I mean, someone's got to start knocking on doors and saying, "Hey, did you see our politician here? This is her at the Capitol Rotunda. This is what she's doing. She's having a party while our district suffers." Amazing. Someone asked me, I got to reply to the email. Who are these people? We'll see if we can figure that out. I think I can. I don't know off the top of my head, but I think I know who took the picture, and I think that person knows who these people are. So we shall see. But anyway, I want to talk a little bit about what we can do to do battle with these people. And this is getting into something that I have heard poo-pooed by a lot of people in the grassroots who don't understand how politics works and don't understand why things work. There's going to be a lot of radical legislation coming up. Right to work being repealed is probably the first thing that's on their agenda. I'll bet you anything. You can bet there's going to be attacks on gun rights. When we have these battles, what we do is we petition our lawmakers. I hear from a whole lot of people, why bother sending a petition in? They don't read the petitions anyway. They're going to do what they want to do, blah, 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 blah. From people who have no idea how things work in the Capitol. So let me clue you guys in on some things. Thing number one, they actually do care when they get a lot of angry letters and petitions on issues. You know why they care? Because they don't want to lose their majority. And Republicans want to reclaim their majority. And in previous years, it was the other way around. Republicans did not want to lose their majority, and the Democrats wanted to get the majority. So guess what they do when they get a pile of letters and petitions? First of all, it tells them how many constituents are mad. Now, don't get me wrong. If you send a petition to someone who's not your representative, they catch that. You know, when I worked in Lansing, we would get occasionally letters from all over the state directed at us, and we just disregard those because they're not from our district, so we don't count them. But when there's a controversial issue like gun control, we care a lot about that. You know who else cares about that? Leadership. Even if they're in a safe seat, they're thinking, well, my colleagues might be endangered by this. Why do you think Democrats didn't pass the assault weapons ban? Because lots of people screamed and yelled at their representatives, and they thought, we don't want to lose any more seats over this. What happened in 1994? They passed an assault weapons ban. What happened later in 1994? Democrats got thrown out of the House on their asses. It was like the biggest party swing ever. That led to gun rights being protected in a huge way for years and years and years and years to come, because they're like, we don't ever want to have that bad election happening again. When I worked in Washington in 2013, it was right after Sandy Hook. Guess what? We got tons and tons and tons of petitions on both sides. And what would happen if we only got petitions on the one side saying support gun control, support common sense gun control? They've probably gotten common sense gun control. What happened instead? Schumer, Toomey, Manchin's deal was dead. We got no anti-gun legislation, and all of the Democrats and a good chunk of the Republicans that were supporting the compromise deal got wiped out. That was the year Eric Cantor, the House Majority Leader, got beaten in his primary because he was supporting the deal, and gun rights groups made a lot of heat in his home district about that. So that's the first thing about petitions. They actually do work. The other thing about petitions is they tell the politicians, you know, politicians sometimes say this. I have heard this from people. I think I've heard this from Lana Tice even. It's a common thing politicians say. I don't read form letters. I only read handwritten, unique letters from my constituents. And the thing you have to ask yourself every time they say these things, anytime a politician says anything, you have to ask yourself, how does it benefit them if I believe this? And then you might get to the truth. Because here's what they want. They want you not to send petitions. They want you not to send form letters. Because if I do an email blast and say, click here to send a letter to your politician, it only takes 5 seconds. Oh, it only takes 5 seconds. Boom, 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 boom. Done. Easy. Excellent. What if instead I say, I need you to write a letter in your own words to your politicians, telling them why right to work is important to protect? How many people are going to do that? Probably almost none of them. People don't have time. People don't like their writing. They don't feel like they know the issues. And on it goes. But when they get a petition from 100 constituents, not only does it tell them there's 100 constituents that are angry about this, it tells them there's an organized group behind it. A group that might have a list that got those signatures. A group that might hit that list again in election season and remind people about their bad votes.
Do you have a how-to on how to do this? I mean, do you mean like an actual paper, like a petition, and you go around and get people to sign, or what do you
No, it
mean?
doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be a petition like the recall petitions or the ballot proposals. You don't have to be in any kind of standard form. An email with a first name, last name, and zip code is all you really need. Aaron asks, how will do petitions work when they come from non-direct constituents? Usually poorly. Sometimes there's exceptions for like contacting leadership, because sometimes that's what you have to do. But most often they don't. Typically, when someone sends a petition to someone that's not their representative, they'll forward it to the representative and say respectfully referred, so they know there's a constituent out there. And that's pretty much all there is to it. But no, the petitions, and we have a petition tool at rescuemichigan.com. Did a lot of petitions in the past year. Killed some legislation doing that, by the way. You know, there was a bill in 2021 right after the summer recess. There's going to be a hearing on a bill to give driver licenses to illegal immigrants. And we sent in several thousand petitions to Lansing, and the hearing got pulled within hours.
So is that on your grassroots headquarters?
We don't have an grassroots headquarters. We have a grassroots headquarters for serious people. Thank you very much. On Rumble, LambChop853 says, Adam, your screen has a delay in audio and is blurry. I am sorry. I can't help my internet signal. But I may soon have a new office to work from. It might have a better internet, so we shall see. Maybe in the future we'll be able to do that. Anyway, getting back to the petitions. Here's the other thing about petitions, folks. You can do petitions too. And guess what petitions do? They grow your organization. Why don't politicians like it when people sign petitions? Because they know groups are organizing and mobilizing around them. Because when we do petitions, we get email addresses. And if people forward the petition around, that's more emails on our list. That's how our list grows. That's how we're able to fundraise. That's the lifeblood of organizations. And that's what you guys need to be doing too. That's how you build your local grassroots organization, is you put pressure on politicians. You get names on your list by putting pressure on politicians, by making the fights. Then you use the list you gain from pressuring the politicians to raise money, and then you spend the money in election season attacking the politicians that did the wrong thing. That's the circle of life in effective grassroots political mobilization. And that's what a lot of these grassroots organizations don't do, because they don't want to do that. They want to be confrontational. They want to be like Marxists, overthrowing the party bosses and blah, 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 blah. And you know why they like to do it too? Because it's easy. Because it's easier to overthrow a county GOP with a few dozen people or a couple hundred people, depending on the county, than winning an election that involves knocking on thousands of doors. And everybody's looking for the easy way out. They all think they're going to get it by overthrowing the party establishment. And here's the reality, people. We're going to have an incompetent state chair in the next 2-year cycle. We're going to have a state committee that can't do anything. You're going to probably have defective district organizations. The only thing you're going to have that's going to be able to do anything, if you want a Republican like Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis in the White House in 2 years, you need an organization, a local organization that's going to be effective. And you won't have any help from the top. Mark my words. So, with that, we are going to be doing a lot of building and growing over the next 2 years, and we're going to be using a lot of policy fights in order to do that. And that's going to be on right to work. That's going to be on gun control. There's going to be probably lots of other stuff. There'll probably be funding for abortion. There'll probably be tax increases. You can bet that gas tax is going up, even though gas prices are going to be going up in a huge way very soon. And the economy is going to be in the shit house for a lot of reasons. You have boomers retiring, and Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security, not Medicaid, Medicare and Social Security getting stretched to the limits. You still have the lingering effects of the American work ethic being shattered by COVID. You've got an economic crisis in Europe that's going to bleed into this country. We no longer have much of a strategic petroleum reserve. And the regime is hostile to drilling in the first place. So everything's going to be getting more expensive. The economy is going to be terrible. And Democrats are not going to be fixing it. So, and you'll see very little from the Republicans in Washington that's going to do anything to mitigate it. Most of the blame will go to the Democrats because that's what people are going to see. Democrats in Lansing, Democrats in Washington. So there's.
It didn't go to them this year.
Huh?
The blame didn't go to them this year.
Yeah, not enough. Not enough. But,
I just remembered something that made me laugh during the Rana interview.
I mean, there's two things about that though. But go ahead, tell your.
Oh, sorry. She said when she was interviewed on Bannon, she actually said how Republicans won the popular vote. That we increased the votes by like 3 million or whatever. I'm like, okay, but we only won like the House by 5. I'm like, are you kidding me right now?
We won the races that didn't matter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Pathetic.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was I going to say?
Sorry
again?
for the sidebar, but it was funny.
No, you're fine. You're fine. But now I forgot what I was going to say. Talking about how it didn't work in the last election cycle. The last election was a comedy of errors, and we've talked about this in previous shows. You had Republicans blowing millions of dollars. You had that outrageous, disgraceful memo from Ed McBroom. You had the embarrassing, disgraceful state convention this past August. So it was a comedy of errors, but hopefully some people learn their lessons, and hopefully those of us who came in the last few years to get involved in politics for the first time are now more veterans and have a better sense of who to trust. So
yeah, I hope so.
And let me say for the record, because I've been known to make a lot of predictions on this show. I never predicted that any of them were going to win in 2022. I think I said it one email. I feel like things are looking up are looking up for the good, but yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah,
of
it felt that way,
problems.
especially when with Trafalgar and the different polls that were looking good, right? Yeah. I just remember saying, like, I don't know if we're going to win the 3. And this was like a long time ago, but I just remember saying we just have to keep the legislature. That's what I was worried about. Because when I was see the tweets were getting pushed into my feed, even though I don't follow them, and they were like, the Dems were. That's all they were talking about was winning the legislature, both sides.
Yep.
Like, is anyone paying attention to
Probably
this?
because they thought winning back the governor's race was going to be easy. But hopefully there won't be as many screw-ups this time as there was last time. There's no governor's race, period, in 2 years. The presidential race should be interesting. Oh, do you want to talk about some Trump stuff? Because that's been
Trump. Oh my God.
Amazing. Yeah. How do you guys feel about these new NFTs he's got?
Yeah, did everybody get their little NFT? I heard they sold out in like 6 hours or something. I don't know. Is that good? I don't know.
Weird. Yeah. What else has Trump done lately? It's been 2 weeks.
It just goes to who advised him on that. Like, I'm sick and tired of it.
Yeah, there was that meeting with Fuentes. We talked about that 2 weeks ago, I think. But wasn't there something else too that happened recently with him? I don't know. But I'll tell you,
no, just this latest bonehead thing. And so they don't know if, like, did he put out that policy statement soon after, like, because they realized the blunder, or why did they do that? Like, nobody even saw that.
Yeah.
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 I
Aaron
doubt
says
it.
maybe
I
Trump
doubt
will
it,
send
Aaron.
the NFT money to candidates he endorses next time.
Just because Trump didn't spend any money to beat Hillary, so he thought everybody could win with no money, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, overall, people can call me a rhino or whatever because I'm not a big fan of Trump as I used to be. But this has all been Trump's doing. It's all been his own doing since he's been out to pasture. He hasn't been learning. He hasn't been adapting. He's been getting kind of crazier and crazier these past few months. And the election was a disaster. A lot of that went squarely on him. He personally recruited Herschel Walker.
He's still out there touting, "Oh, I won. My record is blah blah blah," and 22, like his endorsement record. Okay, but
I'm sorry, folks, but the magic is gone. And people are saying, oh, well, I've seen public opinion polls saying Trump's the front runner. I've seen conflicting polls on that, but all these polls are meaningless. That's not how the presidential race works at all. It's first there's Iowa, then there's New Hampshire, then there's South Carolina,
Well,
then there's
are they
Super
going to be in
Tuesday.
that? Are they going to be in that order? We don't know.
I mean, there'll be some shuffling here and there, but
Yeah.
basically the way it works is you start with a few states and then you go to another small number of states, relatively speaking, Super Tuesday, so the campaigns can put all their resources into one place. So if you say, oh, well, Trump's got better name ID than DeSantis, well, not after DeSantis campaigns in Iowa for a year.
Yeah.
If he does, and maybe he won't, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know, but his latest, he's going after Pfizer, right?
Yeah. I
His
will
wife-
say, if DeSantis does not run, I'll probably just suck it up and support Trump, because who else is there? The rest of them are all establishment hacks. I don't know. Maybe I haven't heard anything from Rand's campaign about him possibly running, so I don't think that's going on. Maybe
Mhm.
Ted Cruz might run, maybe, but Cruz has been squirrely on some issues here and there too. So
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I will still say Trump was the greatest president we've had in my lifetime, but the magic is not there like it was in 2015, 2016.
Even all his rallies, I mean, they're all the same. They're boring to watch. He's just constantly whining about 2020. Like it's not the same person. Even in 2020, I remember in the summer, I was like, does this guy even want to win? Like, I didn't feel like he even wanted to win in 2020.
Yeah, I don't know
It
about
didn't
that.
feel like
Maybe.
it. I don't know, because he was doing some stupid, like, I was like, oh God, what do you say now? Like, just,
I mean, some of those last few rallies were really good, but I think he got clobbered by COVID, and he didn't handle it very well. And
Mhm.
I mean, I think he didn't trust his instincts. He went with Fauci, and didn't make the contrast he needed to have made.
Yeah, but he's still not listening. Because
Yeah.
who advised him to do this thing with these NFTs? And even that policy video, I was like, oh, did you watch it? It was so great. It wasn't.
Yeah,
I don't know. It wasn't the old Trump. Like, he's not the same.
yeah, I agree. Jay says, I'm curious about the presidential primaries, specifically Biden's proposal to make South Carolina first. How can the Democrats dictate changing the order of state primaries? Wouldn't Republicans have to agree and/or state legislatures change the dates by law? That is a good question, Jay. The answer is there is a primary election date set by state law that the state would have to change the law to change that. However, either party can opt not to use the primary. And if one party opts not to use the primary, the other party kind of has to go along with it, because otherwise it's an open primary. So let's say, for example, the Democrats say, we don't want to use the primary. We're going to have a super early caucus instead, and we'll pay for it ourselves and fund it all by ourselves. Well, now the Republicans have an option. They can either have a primary on election day that Democrats can also vote in, or they have to do it themselves. And by the way, Democrats have probably already thought of this, because guess what they could do? They could go to a caucus. They could privatize their primary. Then what do Republicans have to do? They have to privatize their primary process or have a convention or something. And they probably can't even afford it. So it could be an absolute mess. It could be. That's the way that goes. Tom Banks says, Trump is and has been the candidate I trust. He is clearly on our side and will not compromise. Turning our backs on a proven leader is insanity. Well, Tom, remember that time Trump compromised on the budget the first time when he signed it and said, I'm not going to sign a budget like this ever again? Then he compromised again in a year. Then he compromised again in a year. Then he compromised again in a year. Remember that time Trump hired John Bolton to be his national security advisor, and he systematically dismantled his foreign policy in Syria and North Korea? Remember that time Trump hired Omarosa? Remember that time? I mean, Trump's made a lot of mistakes, and you can say he's clearly on our side and won't compromise, but Trump's compromised on a lot of things. He compromised on COVID. We just talked about that. Said the vaccines were the greatest thing under the sun.
Yeah.
Does he mean well? Yeah. Is
Do
he
you
better
remember
than?
how he eviscerated Brian Kemp for opening Georgia?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So Trump's made some mistakes, and some mistakes he's made all by himself. And again, I'd still take him over a corrupt insider Rhino, sure. Over a Bush or a Cheney, absolutely. But over someone like DeSantis who doesn't compromise and gets things done, that's a very different story. Someone on Rumble, KLSC85 says Senator Cruz is not a natural born citizen. You can bet if Cruz is the nominee, the Democrats will use that to disqualify him. I doubt it. This was litigated extensively in the 2016 election.
Yeah, he ran before.
Yeah, I think Trump tried to raise the issue, and it didn't really fly.
He was born in Canada. What was the thing with him? Or
yeah,
no.
He was born in Canada. I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Well, he shouldn't have been allowed to run.
But his parents were American citizens, so you get natural citizenship that way. Just because you're an American family and you're overseas when your child is born does not make your child not a natural born citizen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Rachel says, a lot of this has been a disaster. It's up to we, the people, to regain control. That being said, it's a huge uphill battle of informing and empowering the people. And with that, knowledge is power. Yep. Well, that's what we aim to do on this show. So with that, I don't know that I have too much else I wanted to go over tonight. One very sad thing happened this past week. And I'll talk about this more in an upcoming episode because I think I want to do a whole show about this. One of my dearest friends and political colleagues, Tony DeMott, passed away this past week, or actually the week before. But Tony was only 51, and several years ago he had a miracle surviving an aortic dissection. The doctor said there was only 1 in 10 people even make it to the hospital alive when these things happen, and only 1 in 10 ever wake up. And we got another 4 years with Tony. I think we were in year 4 since that happened. But he, as far as we know, passed away in his sleep. And those who don't know, I mean, Tony was the guy I would put down as an emergency contact. We were the best of friends. We went camping together. We went to Washington together. We went to we did everything. And Tony was someone that worked with us ever since I first got involved in politics in the Ron Paul campaign back in 2007. And I remember taking him to the Rally for the Republic, which was Ron's big farewell convention in 2008. And we got him and a bunch of other people from Michigan to go backstage because they became the volunteers that ran the convention. He started the Campaign for Liberty chapter in Michigan, so we worked together for many years. And Tony was one of the most hardcore people I knew about holding politicians' feet to the fire. I mean, his attitude was, if you can't say anything bad about a politician, don't say anything. Don't give him anything but the absence of pain. That was his guiding philosophy, was never, ever, ever, ever say something nice about a politician. We're there to make their lives hell. And Tony did a lot to do that. So I think sometime probably this week, obviously next Sunday is Christmas, so we're not going to be doing a show next Sunday, but I think we will do a show with some of Tony's friends and allies and colleagues who have been on the show before, some of them, David Dudenhofer, Sean Dow, possibly Brendan. I mean, we'll ask around. We'll try to get a date set when we can do that. So we'll talk more about that then. Lambchop 53 says, did you all look into the SCOTUS case 22-380 Brunson versus Adams? I did, Lambchop, and let me see if I can pull it up again. Oops, I meant to type the case thing into my search bar, and instead I typed in your username. Let me see if I can find this again. 22. I'll tell you the first thing I noticed it was a pro se case that was sent straight to the Supreme Court, and I don't think it's going anywhere. Let me pull it up just so we can see here. Yeah, here we go. Wait, hold on. This is not it. Let me see here. Where's the filing? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll pull this up on the screen so you guys can see. Hold on. This is the case Brunson versus Alma Adams et al. Case summary and timeline. Election fraud has surfaced, and the case involves the possible removal of a sitting president and vice president of the United States, along with 388 members of U.S. Congress. Respondents were warned, the respondents being Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Mike Pence, and 385 members of Congress will all be removed from office. This is what I'm talking about, folks. And Bam Chop, with all due respect, the Supreme Court refused to hear a case that was extremely well drafted by a state attorney general, co-signed by several, I think 11 other states' attorneys general.
That was the best case.
Against multiple other states. A case where the Supreme Court actually had a constitutional obligation to hear that case, and they blew it off. So if the Supreme Court is not going to hear a well-founded, well-argued case that multiple states have brought against other states, what in the world makes you think they're going to hear a case to overthrow a president of the United States who has now been sitting for 2 years and 338 members of Congress? This is wishful thinking at its best. I mean, do we want to even look at the suit? I mean, I don't know how much more I want to say about it. I guess I could probably pull it up. But the reality is, all these lawsuits, these recounts, these recalls, they're all people looking for an easy way out, and there isn't one. The only way we're going to save our country is with hardcore shoe leather work, grassroots leadership, and thousands and thousands and thousands of patriots mobilizing and organizing people in their neighborhoods and getting serious, capable people elected to serve in positions of power in government. And there's no convention of states that's going to fix that. There's no lawsuit that's going to fix that. There's no recall, nothing. It's not going to work. Stop looking for an easy solution. There is only one. So Lamb53 says, we will see. January 6th is a review. We will see. You'll let me know after January 6th if the lawsuit got thrown out or not. All right, folks. I think with that, we will call it stream. So thank you, Patty, for joining us. Hopefully next time we've got Amber and Shane back on.
Yep.
We should probably start talking about doing a New Year's live stream. We did a big one last year. We were streaming for like 8 hours. We had like 20 guests, something like that.
What?
Yeah, if you guys hadn't seen our New Year's live stream, it was great. We had tons and tons of people on, including John and Rachel Clore, who are in our chat right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Lamb Chop says, who thought Roe v. Wade would be overturned? Lots of people did. Lots of people thought that. That's what the Democrats were saying all along. Oh my gosh, we've got so many Republicans in the court where they might overturn Roe v. Wade. Everybody said that. The Roe v. Wade case was widely regarded as legally meritless, that the Supreme Court just invented a right to privacy to avoid talking about to avoid talking about the question of when life begins.
Excuse me.
So yeah, lots of people thought Roe v. would be overturned. All right, guys. Hope you all have a safe and Merry Christmas, especially if you're going to be driving in the dangerous winter weather. We will keep you guys posted on when we do the show in memory of Tony, which will, I think, be an excellent stream, not just for remembering him, but also for having a whole lot of really excellent political operatives who have been involved in this fight for many, many years. People like Sean, people like Brendan Boudreau, people who have been effective grassroots leaders all across the country who all knew and respected Tony. So look forward to that. And with that, thank you, everybody. And have a wonderful holiday and Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
Go Blue.
Yep. All right, guys. As always, thanks for all you do for liberty. Until then, peace out.
Okay.